this, my entire bar, I know that this entire bar, this bar is 35. The total is 35. 3/5 of 35. So I have to take my 35 and I'm going to split it into 5 sections. I'm doing it into fifths. That's my denominator. That's how many parts I'm going to have. Yes? Oh, you were kind of going because I wasn't asking for the answer. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I need 5 sections. Now what they want to know, not what is 1/5, but what is 3 sections of the 5. Now I know, because I kind of taught you yesterday. Yes, I know that we can do this. That's one way to do it. But I really don't want to multiply 35 times 3 and then divide that by 5. That's really big. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So before you start going, I've already solved it, I can tell you the answer, it's blah, blah, I'm not asking. So before you start wanting to interrupt me with what you figured out that I didn't ask you to do, don't tell me. What you want to do is you want to figure out what is 1 unit. If the total is 35 and I have 5 sections, what is the value of 1 section? Okay. You were dying, and then you're like, never mind. 5. Nope. How'd you figure it out? Well, we're going to do that the opposite, where you got 35. You divided it into 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. So if this is 7, what is this? 7. That's 7, so that's 7, so that's 7. With fractional parts, they all have to be the same. So with each one being the same, this one being 7, I'm not asking what's 1/5, I'm asking what's 3/5. So now I need to do 3 times what? 7. So it's 21. So 3/5 of 35 is 21. Now, if I had done the math, Cameron, turn around looking at me. If I had done the math, I still would have got 21. It's just a lot of work. So sometimes doing the bar model is a little bit quicker and easier. Sometimes. Not always. Sometimes. Are you still writing this down? Okay. And I have some hard-headed people that no matter what I say, they're not going to do this. Aurelia buys 24 roses. Of these roses, 3/4 are red, and the rest are white. How many white roses did she buy? What number is going up here?
24.
Why is it not 2?
Because it doesn't mean come in 2 times 12.
Right, because it's 2 dozen, and a dozen is 12, and you have 2 dozen, so that's 24. You can't just go, oh, number, gonna split that up, take a fraction of it, and call it a day. Not really. Again, you have to read the problem. So the top number is 24. Of these roses, 3/4 are red, and the rest are white. So if you have your bar model, how many pieces is it going to have? 4. 3/4 are red. So 3 of those pieces, 3 out of the 4, what can I write? What color can I write under that? Red. See, I'm labeling everything that it's telling me. The rest are white. So what do I have to do to this bar model? What should I do? 7, that's all I heard. Have some confidence. What would you do? If this were your piece of paper, what would you do to it? On your bar model, if this were your piece of paper, how would you label your bar model? I'm not asking how would you ignore the bar model and do a standard algorithm. That's not what I asked. What would you do to your bar model? Because if I just do this, I'm ignoring the question.
And then you take the last piece and do it right.
So what were you going to say? Would it be the same thing? Take the last piece and label it white. The rest are white. This is the rest. That's what's left over. The rest are white. How many white roses did she buy? So you need to find out. So that would be 1/4. But do I have a number yet? No. They're not asking for a fraction. They're asking for a number. So you need to find out how many white roses she bought. So you need to find out how much each unit is. 24 is my total. What are you going to do to that 24?
Divide it by 4.
Divide it by 4 because you have
4 sections.
Because you have 4 sections. So each section is 6. And because you have a bar model, it's right there in front of your face that how many white roses are there? 6. You didn't even have to do any major work. Now did you?
No.
No. Now if you had done standard algorithm, 3/4 of 24. Let's see how much harder it would have been if you had done standard algorithm. 3/4 times 24. That would be 72 divided by 4. 4 into 72 because we're hard-headed and don't want to listen to our teacher. That's 4. That's 32. That's 18. But that tells me how many red. I still have to come up here. 24 minus 18 equals 6. So you run the risk of getting it wrong because you're going to go, oh, 18. I'm done.
That is wrong.
I know. And so if this had been a test question, I would have been like, okay, you told me how many red. Wrong. 3/4 are red. If you did 3/4 of 24, because I know I've got at least one person in this room who will not do bar model. Even though I said do bar model, will not do bar model. Just like yesterday, I said do the counters like this, and the counters like this. So, is this wrong? No. But it's more work. Sometimes the bar model makes it a lot shorter, a lot easier, and it makes the problem a lot easier to see and understand. Always? No. Sometimes? Yeah. So this one, I was able to go 24. Okay, 3 of those. Oh, there's one left. 24 split into 4, 6. Oh, 6 white roses, duh. I didn't have to do any work at all. Because those numbers are so small, you were able to do them in your head. You should know that 24 divided by 4 is 6. Please tell me that you were able to do that in your head. Because that's basic facts. This was a lot more work. A lot more work. And you run the risk of getting it wrong. But what do I know? Just your math. Rosie had 17 yards of fabric. She used 1/3 of it to make a quilt. How many yards of fabric did Rosie use for the quilt? I don't know. So, do you have a top number?
Yes, 17.
17. How many pieces?
17.
3 pieces. I have 3 pieces. So she used 1/3 of it, 1 out of the 3. Do we really know what it is yet?
No.
No, we have to figure that out. Is it going to be a whole number?
No.
Why?
Because 3 can't go into 17 evenly.
There. If you do any of the things that I feel like I've been just a broken record so many times. If you stop and do any kind of, let me see if my answer is reasonable. Let me see if my answer makes sense. Let me see what I should get. 3 going into 17 will not go evenly. 3 will go into 15. 3 will go into 18 with a complete even number. I mean, 3 will go into 17, but not evenly. So your answer is going to be a mixed fraction. You're going to end up with a mixed fraction because it's going to go in and you're going to be left with a remainder. And you're not going to do like this remainder whatever. You're dealing with fractions. So your answer has to be a fraction. Not improper, but mixed. Not proper. So, 17 divided by 3. How many times can 3 go into 17? 5. 6 is too much. It's 18. So it goes in 5 times. What's 5 times 3?
15.
15. You're left with 2. So how many yards did she use for the quilt?
5 and 2.
5 and 2/3. If you guys are still kind of on how to write a mixed fraction, that might be something that you practice. 5. Remember, this is your whole number right there. Your remainder is your numerator. This is always your denominator. So this is 5 and 2/3. This is 5 and 2/3. This is 5 and 2/3. Whatever is in your squares, they all come together to make that top number. If they don't, you messed up. 5 and 2/3, if you add all those up, you will get 17. 5 and 5 and 5 equals 15. 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3. 6/3. 6/3 is equal to 2, because that's improper. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 15 plus 2 equals 17. So all of that together equals 17. So how much did she use? She used 5 and 2/3 of a yard. So almost 6 yards, but not quite. So you don't have, it doesn't always go in evenly. You're not always going to get a straight whole number. You might get a mixed fraction. You might get a fraction. Not always going to go in evenly. Are there any questions so far, or are we good? You still writing? Okay. Okay. So, this one right here, where you really want to use a bar model. You really, really need to use a bar model. 2/3 of a number is 8. What is the number? So this one is actually backwards from what we've been doing. 8 does not go up top. 2/3 of a number. Do we know the number? No. What they're saying is there are 3 parts, because we've got a denominator of 3, so we know there are 3 parts. 2/3 is 8. So if 2 of these is 8,
The last one was 4.
so what are these 2 units right here? 4. Because for these 2 to be put together to make 8, this has to be 4, this has to be 4, because 4 and 4 is 8. So what is this?
4.
What?
Oh,
This? How funny is that? Where were you looking? This is 4. So what is the number?
12.
What? OMG. Let's check. 6 and 12. So the magic number is 12. Later. Yeah. So on these, doing the bar model really, really helps because it gives you that visual down here of going, okay, I've got 2/3, 8. Oh, okay, so what 2 numbers make 8? 4. So it just really helps you see what you've got to put together. Yes?
Would you be able to do that in the other way?
Oh, doing a standard algorithm? Yes, there is another way to do it. I wish I could.
So if that's backwards, would you like divide or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Yeah, 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 3.
So you would do that.
You just do the steps backwards. But some people can't remember how to do that. So, just do the bar model. Okay, so this is like the magic number. Tiffany spent 4/7 of her money on a teddy bear. So how many pieces is your bar going to have?
7.
7. Seven pieces, 6 lines, 7 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4/7 of that she spent on a teddy bear. I'm doing everything that's in the problem. All I'm doing is reading it and writing it. So this was a teddy bear. All I'm doing is what is in the problem. I'm just labeling it. Y'all with me or still, am I just able to do stuff faster than y'all? You good?
You are
You good? If the teddy bear costs $24, where does the $24 go? Does it go up top? Does it go over here? Or does it go right here?
right on top. Under the bottom by the teddy bear. Teddy bear.
By the teddy bear. So it goes right here? Yeah. So when you read the problem, if the teddy bear costs $24, so 24 goes right here. How much money did she have at first? So they want to know what was that? What was the total before she spent $24? So I want to see if you can go ahead and work it and then see if you can figure it out. So it's 24 divided by 4 because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 that make 24. And I saw some people who were doing 24 divided by 7. You would only do 24 divided by 7 if 24 were up here and you were trying to figure out each one. 24 is not up here. So you don't do that. You only have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are made up by 24. So it's 24 divided by 4, and that gives you 6. So each one of these are 6, which make the total of 24. So if these are 6, then these are 6. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that make the total, and then you have 6 times 7 equals 42. So she started off with $42. What? You can't divide 6 by 42 without getting a decimal. Okay. So I want you for just a moment, just going to give you just a few minutes. I want you, and I want to see bar models on G and H, because it's good practice, because sometimes you're going to need to know how to do it. And then down here on A, there are 48 students. Don't copy the problem, just work the problem. There are 48 students going on a field trip. 1/4 are girls. How many boys are going on the trip? Now, I've had some people, when we did these problems last year, and we had questions about people taking lunch boxes and lunches and how many adults are on the bus and all. I had people telling me, like, if there were 48, their answers ended up being like 62. If there are only 48 people going, can your answer be larger than 48? No. If you're dealing with people, or, cats and dogs and stuff, can you end up with a fraction? Like, can I have 3.5 boys? No, unless we want to go to prison for, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, cutting people in half. I've never seen a half a person walking around on a field trip. Because that's kind of a felony, and you can't do that. So you have whole people going on field trips. So if you end up with a fraction of a person, guess who messed up? You did. So if you're dealing with people, you should have whole people. And this was a problem last year. So I had people like 5 3/4 boys. Really? You're not going to have fractions of people. And so that tells me that they were like, okay, I just want to get this done, so I want to turn it in, and I want to read a book, take an AR test, blah, 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 and just doing the work and not paying attention. You really want to pay attention. If you're doing something that's division, your answer really shouldn't get larger. It should get smaller because you're dividing. And then, if you are dealing with people, your answer should not be a fraction. Unless your name is like Freddy Krueger or Jason. So let's not do that. Let's have, whole people. So, and that did happen this morning, so we did have to have a discussion. So, do these 5 problems. I'm going to walk around, and then we will move on to, we'll go over these, and then we'll move on to science. Okay. Yeah. So the first one, I'm splitting it into 4 sections. Whole number 9. And I want to know what is 1/4 of 9. So 9 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. With 1. So 2 1/4. So 1 unit is 2 1/4. Each unit is 2 1/4. Some of y'all just got so stuck on that one thing and so hung up on the fact that it didn't go evenly, just kind of froze on it. I don't know why. 1/4 of 9 is 2 1/4. If you know your facts, you should know that it's not going to go in evenly. You're going to get a mixed fraction. 2/5 of 12. So I'm going to do 5 sections, 3, 4, 5, of 12. And they want to know what are 2 sections of it. So 5 into 12. 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 and 2 fifths. So each unit is 2 and 2 fifths. But I have 2 of them. So if I have 2 of them, 2 and 2 is 4. 2 and 2 is 4. 4 and 4 fifths. If you got it right, yay you. If you got it wrong, you see where you messed up. Yes. It really wasn't that bad. Dang it, darn it. I needed 1. 2/3 of a number is 10. I know I've got 3 sections. I don't know the number. I do know that 2 of them together make 10. So what is 1 unit? 5. Because 2 of them together make 10. So what is the number? 15. Do you have a question, Marlon? Oh, okay. 3/4 of a number is 24. So I've got 4 sections. 3 of those together make 24. What's the value of each unit?
8.
Because 24 divided by 3, 8. So each unit is 8. What is the total number?
32.
What is 8 times 4? 32. It can't be 24 because I've already got 24, and that's only 3 of them. 32. There are 48 students going on a field trip. 1/4 are girls. And I've got 4 sections. 1/4 are girls. So that tells me that the rest have to be boys, because you've got girls and you got boys. There's boys. How many boys are going on the trip? So if I've got 48 divided by 4. What is 48 divided by 4? 12. So each unit is 12. How many are boys? 36. Thank you. So 12 times 3. 36 boys. 36 boys.
Whoa.